Okay, discretionary income. What is discretionary income? It is the money available to a household over and above what is required to have a comfortable standard of living. Meaning that how much money does people need in order for them to have a comfortable life. So in a survey conducted in US, it is concluded that if you have annual income of $75,000, you can have a comfortable income. But actually, this is subjective because it depends on people's attitude towards money, whether they like to spend or they don't like to spend money on things that is unnecessary. So next we look at two different types of people towards their attitude towards money. The first one we call it as type 1. Type 1 is a person who hates to be a part of their money, or they actually they will experience emotional pain if they need to let go their money to other person. And the second type is spendthrift. Spendthrift is a type of people that enjoy spending their money. They enjoy buy everything in their side. So this is what we call as spendthrift people. So the third one is consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is an indicator, meaning that how consumer believe about the future might hold for them. It can lead to their levels of confidence, whether they will spend more or they will save more. There's two types, pessimism and optimism. If the consumer is pessimistic about the future it might hold for them, they tend to cut their current spending and they will not take any new debt. They will take on less debt. They will not take debt for unnecessary things. They will be conscious of all the spending. But if the person is optimistic, they will reduce the amount of money they save and they will take more debt. Next, the fourth one is we have a look at income inequality and social mobility. Income inequality is the biggest issue that we normally hear when resources are being distributed unevenly within the populations. Some people might be very rich, and in the same society, some people are very, very poor. That is what we call as income inequality. Plutonomy is described as an economy that driven by a fairly small number of rich people, that normally happening in the United States, where in a population only a fair number of people are rich people, where the majority of them is from a middle or lower income people. Social mobility. What is social mobility actually? It is defined as the passage of individual from one social class to another. It is a movement of people from one classes to another classes. If horizontal mobility, it means a person is moving from one position to another that is roughly equivalent to their current status, to their current social status. For examples, like a nurse becomes an elementary school teacher, or a policeman becomes a fireman or an ambulance driver. This is all equivalence of equivalent social classes movement. For upward mobility, it is a movement or changes in social classes from people from lower status. They move or fill in the position of a higher status people. The last one is downward mobility. This kind of movement is the types of movement that nobody wants to have it, and is really unfortunate if people need to go through these kinds of downward mobility, because it means that people from a lower class, people like farmers or shoe shiner, for example, they become a homeless people or a jobless people. That is the worst case that can happen to someone. in a certain populations. Next, we go to income-based marketing. After the Great Recession that happened from December 2007 and ended in June 2009, there is a slight changes in the way people are spending money, and there's a shift in women's role in society because women with children, they started to become a working mother. They have high paying occupations like medical or architecture job that is normally dominated by men previously. And also there's an increase in educational attainment where people started to realize it is important to have good a good education background. For a marketer, they normally they want to target high income consumer, or we call it the top of the pyramid in the society pyramid, where but uh, it is very important for marketers to understand that they cannot segment all high income consumer in one same in the same group, even though the income is same, but their attitudes might be different and the way of their living might be different. So they actually few groups of people based on, we can categorize them based on their attitudes towards luxury. The first one is luxury is functional. For this kind of people in this group, they use their money to buy things that will last longer and have enduring value. So they will conduct extensive pre-purchase research, and they will make logical decisions rather than emotional or impulsive choices. So people from middle class as well can become part of this group, because if they make extensive research and they figure out that it's worth it to buy certain luxurious product, they can go for it. Second group is the luxury is as a reward. This consumer tend to become people from younger age than the first group, but which is slightly older than the third group of the three group. They will use luxury as things to reward themselves, and they will say, I've made it. For example, like if they're able to purchase a high-end automobile like Mercedes-Benz or Audi car, and even to buy a home if in exclusive community, for example, like in Malaysia, in Mont Kiara or Damansara, if they able to buy it, it is a reward for them. The third group is luxury is for indulgence. So this kind of group is the smallest group out of this three group, because they just tend to be from a younger consumer and slightly more males they are than the other two groups. These consumer have the purpose of owning luxury to become extremely lavish, and they want it for their own self-indulgence. So they're willing to pay a premium price for any goods and express the individual in order for them to express the individuality, and in order for people to make other people notice about their wealthiness. They want people to look at them as a wealthy person and high income people. Under this top of pyramid people, they're also categorized as two: the old money people and the working wealthy. For all money family, it is a wealthy that inherits from your ancestors or grandmothers or parents. So these people will have different attitudes toward their spending, even though they are high income consumer. And the second group is the working wealthy, or in French we call it nouveau rich. They are people that is wealthy based on their own hard work and based on their own initiative. For example, like the famous Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. All of them are the working wealthy. And the bottom of the pyramid in the society, we call it the low income consumer. So actually marketers can also target this kind of people because even though it is obvious that they spend less money than rich people, but they have the same basic needs as others. Like, for example, if a marketer is selling staple goods like milks, orange juice, or bread, or any kinds of uh, foods, they can become part of the target market as well. And it is also good if marketers are able to target the low income consumer because their market size is larger than the other uh, groups in the pyramid. Okay, next we go to social class and consumers' identity. There are actually 6 types of social classes. Number 1 is the upper. Number 2 is lower upper. Third one is upper middle. The fourth one is lower middle. The fifth is upper lower and lower lower. What does it mean by a social class? Actually, social class is actually a ranking of people. We generally describe the overall rank of people in a society based on their income, based on their family backgrounds, and also uh, their network, for example. So, this social class will create social stratification where it will leads to artificial division where the process in a system artificial division refers to a process in a system by which scarce and valuable resources are distributed unequally to status position means that uh, is it really a person really have really suitable to get the position or to become the CEO because of their cleverness, or is it just because of their family backgrounds? Maybe they come from a well-known family or a wealthy family. The third one is status hierarchy. Status hierarchy is meaning that some member thinks they are better off than the others, and they might have more authorities or power over others, and they will simply gain respect based on their social classes. Next is the occupational prestige. These types of social classes is how we evaluate people based on what they do for a living. For example, a CEO of a large company, or they are doctors or a college professor, or maybe they have jobs that is like garbage collectors or a shoe shiner. This is what we call as occupational prestige. We classify them based on their occupations. The fourth one is the worldview. Worldview is we differentiate among social classes. We generalize them the working class, like lower middle class or higher middle class. For lower middle class people, they tend to uh, their buying behavior will be different if they have immediate need. Like for example, they need to replace their refrigerator with a new one, or they need to repair, or they need to replace their broken televisions, as compared to the higher classes people, because they more to long term goals like saving for college, or saving for big vacations, or saving for their retirements. Next, we have affluenza. Affluenza is a situation where wealthy people, they are stressed or unhappy with their wealthiness, or because they feel insecure of their wealthy. They're afraid that people might rob them, or they might be suddenly become poor, or their money might be suddenly missing. So they have these kinds of uh, feelings that makes them stress about their wealthiness. The last one is cosmopolitanism. It is an aspect of a worldview that is starting to receive more attention by consumers' behavior research, where it defines cosmopolitan people is who try to be open to the world, and they want to strive for diverse of experience. They like to go for products that is global, that have global existence. Next, we have income versus social classes. Okay, normally we will equate money with social classes, but actually they are not synonymous. There are few stages that can income or social class can become a good predictor. For example, the first one, if a social class will become a better predictor of our purchases, or predictor of our consumer behavior if the consumer is purchasing a product that have symbolic aspect but low to moderate prices, such as cosmetic or good wine, for example. And the second one is income can become a better predictor than the social class for a major expenditure that do not have status or symbolic aspect, like major appliances or building a kitchen cabinet or buying a refrigerator or air conditioner, for example. The third one is we need both social class and income in order for us to predict the purchase behavior for expensive and symbolic product like expensive car and luxurious home, for example. So income and social class can be used interchangeably. Depends on the types of purchase or types of product that we are referring to. Social class around the world. Let's have a look at all the social class around the world that we have. The first one is we have China. People in China, they are they have uh they their segment is different than United States because they have lower cost of living. So that's why if they are earning 14,000 uh US dollar, they can become the middle class. They can become the middle class people. They can gain the comfortable live if they're in China. So that's why the demand for luxurious good in China is booming actually. Uh, Next we have Japan. People in Japan are highly brand conscious society. They like to buy designer label clothes and luxurious goods, and most of the youngsters, they live with their parents and their family, so they have enough money to spend goods on expensive clothes, accessories, and even to have good vacations. Next we have uh, social class in the Middle East country, in the Arabic Gulf. It is different from the Japanese consumer, where Arabic women, not most of them are working. Just few of them are working. So this make the search for the latest and of the Western luxury brand a leisure activity for those who are rich people in the Middle East country. So they have more time to search for the trendiest and the in trend clothes by the designer. And actually the Middle East market, if they can combine the 22 countries in the Arab League to become a single country, they can become the 8th largest economy in the world. Next, we have United Kingdom. Okay, in United Kingdom, peoples are extremely conscious with their social classes. They will do anything in order for them to maintain or upgrade themselves to higher ranking of the society. They have previously they have 3 classes only, but now it is up to 7 classes of social classes in United Kingdom. The last one is India. People in India, they even though they have a large number of population, and now their exposure of the luxurious brand or luxurious item is increased where the demand for luxurious products such as Jimmy Choo's or Gucci is increasing in India, and even their youngsters are watching like MTV, and they also read international fashion magazines. So that's why they are aware of what the global brand is offering. So that is all about chapter 12. Thank you.